के मालिक गुजारिश है तुझसे मेरे दिल में कुरान बसा मेरे मौला।
अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह वस्सलातु वस्सलामु अला रसूलिल्लाह। वल मुहसनातु मिनन निसाई इल्ला मा मलकत ऐमानुकुम किताबुल्लाहि अलैकुम व उहिल्ला लकुम मा वराअ ज़ालिकुम अन तबतगू बिअमवालिकुम मुहसिनीन गैर मुसाफिहीन फमस्तमतअतुम बिही मिनहुन्न फआतूहुन्न उजूरहुन्न फरीदा वला जुनाह अलैकुम फीमा तरादैतुम बिही मिन बअदिल फरीदा इन्नल्लाह कान अलीमन हकीमा। Unforbidden are the women who have husbands except the women of disbelievers who come into your possession as slaves due to war. This is Allah's decree for you. And other than these, those remaining women are lawful for you, that you seek them in exchange of your wealth, meaning dowry in proper marriage, not through adultery, fornication. Therefore, give the women you wish to marry their fixed dowries, and after fixing the dowry, then there is no sin upon you if you come to a mutual agreement to increase or decrease the amount. Indeed, Allah is all-knowing, all-wise. In the commentary it is mentioned that also forbidden upon you are the women who have husbands except the women of disbelievers from Darul Harb, the territory of war wherein there is no peace treaty with the Muslims. More detail can be found in the books of fiqh, meaning Islamic jurisprudence. Those who are captured in the battlefield unaccompanied by their husbands whilst their husbands are in Darul Harb and they come into your possession as slaves. With them you may have sexual intercourse even if they have spouses amongst the enemy camp. In this situation, their marriage with their previous husbands is nullified, but only after they have been cleared of the possibility of pregnancy after the completion of one menstrual cycle. This is Allah's decree for you. In addition to these women who are mentioned in the Quran as haram, meaning forbidden, there are also some women who are mentioned as haram in the hadith. For example, having a lady and her mother's sister or a lady and her father's sister in one marriage, etc. The remaining women are lawful for you to marry, that you seek them in exchange of your wealth, meaning through dowry in a proper marriage, not seeking them through adultery or fornication. Therefore, give the women you wish to marry their fixed dowries. After fixing the dowry, there is no sin on you if you come to a mutual agreement to increase or decrease the amount of dowry. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ مِنْكُمْ طَوْلًا أَنْ يَنْكِحَ الْمُحْصَنَاتِ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ فَمِمَّا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ مِنْ فَطَيَاتِكُمُ الْمُؤْمِنَاتِ وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ بِإِيمَانِكُمْ بَعْدُكُمْ مِنْ بَعْدٍ فانكحوهن بإذن أهلهن وآتوهن أجورهن بالمعروف محصنات غير مسافحات ولا متخذات أخدان فإذا أحصن فإن أتين بفاحشة فعليهن نصف ما على المحصنات من العذاب ذلك لمن خشي العنة منكم وأن تصبروا خير لكم Wallahu Ghafurur Rahim. And whoever amongst you, O Muslims, does not have the means to marry free believing women should therefore marry from the believing slave women that you own. And Allah knows well your faith, and you are from one another. Therefore, marry them with the permission of their masters, and give them their dowries according to acceptable custom whilst they become wives, not committing adultery, fornication, or secretly taken lovers. When they are married, then commit an act of indecency upon them is therefore half of the punishment which is upon the free women. This permission of marrying slave women is for the one amongst you who fears adultery or fornication, and to have patience is better for you, and Allah is most forgiving, most merciful. In the commentary to this verse of the Quran Majid, the glorious Quran, it is mentioned, whoever amongst you, O Muslims, isn't wealthy enough to marry from the free believing women, he should then marry from the believing slave women who belong to some Muslim person with that individual's permission. You should not regard getting married to them as a disgrace to yourselves. Allah knows well your faith. He is the one who knows her true merit. Many a time, a slave girl may be more excellent in her Iman, meaning faith, than a free woman. You are from one another being equal in religion, so do not be hesitant to marry them. Therefore, marry them with the permission of their masters and give them their dowries according to acceptable custom without delay or decrease. If this slave woman commits adultery, that punishment is 50 lashes and being banished for half a year. This permission of marrying slave women is for the one amongst you who fears adultery, yet it is better for you to be patient and abstain from marrying slave girls, lest the child should become enslaved also because she is under the ownership of someone else, just like his or her mother. يريد الله ليبين لكم ويهديكم سنن الذين من قبلكم ويتوب عليكم والله عليم حكيم. Allah wants to make clear to you His commandments and informs you of the conducts of those before you, and to turn His mercy towards you. And Allah is all-knowing, all-wise. He wants to make clear to you His commandments, meaning what is in your best interests regarding lawful and unlawful wives to whom you can marry and to whom you cannot marry. He also informs you of the conducts of those prophets alayhimussalam who lived before you in the way of what is lawful and what is unlawful, so that you might follow them. He also makes things clear in order to direct His mercy and forgiveness towards you, in order to bring you back to His obedience from the disobedience which you previously practiced. وَاللَّهُ يُرِيدُ أَن يَتُوبَ عَلَيْكُمْ وَيُرِيدُ الَّذِينَ يَتَّبِعُونَ الشَّهَوَاتِ أَن تَمِيلُوا مَيْلًا عَظِيمًا. And Allah wants to direct His mercy towards you, and those who chase after their own pleasures, they desire that you be remotely separated from the straight path. Those who chase after their own illegitimate pleasures, that is to marry the daughters of their brothers and sisters, they are the Jews and Christians, or the fire worshippers and adulterers and fornicators. They want that you be deviated far from the straight path by doing what has been forbidden to you, so that you might become like them. يريد الله أن يخفف عنكم وخلق الإنسان ضعيفا. Allah wills to make things easy for you, and mankind has been created weak. Meaning Allah wills to make the rules of the divine law, meaning the Sharia, easier for you. Mankind being created weak in terms of abstaining from the opposite gender and lust. It is difficult for man to be patient from women and lust, and vice versa. Hence the Quran Majid says that mankind has been created weak. This is undoubtedly the kindness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He has allowed men to benefit from women and vice versa. That is within the bounds of Sharia, meaning through nikah, which itself is an act of worship which every prophet has previously engaged in and adopted. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تأكلوا أموالكم بينكم بالباطل إلا أن تكون تجارة عن تراض منكم ولا تقتلوا أنفسكم إن الله كان بكم رحيما. O believers, do not unfairly consume the wealth of each other, except that it is a trade by your mutual agreement, and do not kill yourselves by committing murder or suicide, etc. Indeed, Allah is most merciful upon you. Unfairly consuming the wealth of one another, meaning through usury or taking someone else's property by force. And do not kill yourselves by committing what leads towards destruction. For instance, consuming wrongfully another person's property may lead to murder or even committing suicide, etc. وَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ عُدْوَانًا وَظُلْمًا فَسَوْفَ نُصْلِيهِ نَارًا وَكَانَ ذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ يَسِيرًا. And whoever will do such through injustice and aggression, then we shall soon put him in the fire, and this is easy for Allah. Meaning, whoever consumes the wealth of others unjustly or murders someone through aggression, etc., which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shall soon punish him by throwing him in the fire wherein he shall burn. And this is easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إن تجتنبوا كبائر ما تنهون عنه نكفر عنكم سيئاتكم وندخلكم مدخلا كريما. If you keep avoiding the major sins that are forbidden to you, then we will forgive you other minor sins and admit you into a place of honor. So due to the blessings of your good deeds, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive your other minor sins and admit you into paradise, which is a place of honor. The number of major sins that have been mentioned range from 7 to as much as 700. وَلَا تَتَمَنَّوْا مَا فَضَّلَ اللَّهُ بِهِ بَعْدَكُمْ عَلَى بَعْدٍ لِلرِّجَالِ نَصِيبٌ مِّمَّا اكْتَسَبُوا وَلِلنِّسَاءِ نَصِيبٌ مِّمَّا اكْتَسَبْنَ وَاسْأَلُوا اللَّهَ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمًا. And do not long for things by which Allah has given superiority to some of you over others. For men there is a share from their earning, and for women there is a share from their earning. And ask Allah for His bounty. Indeed, Allah knows everything. Superiority to some over others refers to in the way of worldly matters or religion, lest it lead to mutual envy and hatred. For men, there is a share of reward from their earnings by way of their participation in jihad, etc. And for women, there is a share of reward from their earnings by way of being obedient to their husbands, guarding their chastity and their private parts, etc. This verse of the Quran al-Majid was revealed when Sayyida Salma radiyallahu anha said, if we were men and had joined jihad, would we have received the reward that they receive? O believing men and women, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His benevolence of what you need and He will give it to you. Indeed, Allah knows everything. وَلِكُلٍّ جَعَلْنَا مَوَالِيَ مِمَّا تَرَكَ الْوَالِدَانِ وَالْأَقْرَبُونَ وَالَّذِينَ عَقَدَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ فَآتُوهُمْ نَصِيبَهُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ شَهِيدًا. And for everyone we have appointed heirs of whatever their parents and near relatives leave behind. And to those with whom you have made an agreement to give a share from the inheritance, give them their share. Indeed, everything is present before Allah. For every man and woman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has appointed heirs from whatever property that their parents and near relatives leave behind. And to those with whom you have made an agreement to give a share from inheritance, that is, those allies with whom before the coming of Islam you made covenants of mutual assistance and inheritance. So give them their share. الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعدهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم فالصالحات قانتات حافظات للغيب بما حفظ الله واللاتي تخافون نشوزهن فعظوهن واهجروهن في المضاجع واضربوهن فإن أطعنكم فلا تبغوا عليهن سبيلا إن الله كان عليا كبيرا. Men are guardians over women because Allah has made one excel over the other and because men spent their wealth on them. So virtuous women are obedient to their husbands, guarding the wealth and honor of their husbands in the absence of their husbands, the way Allah has commanded to guard. And the women from whom you fear ill conduct, meaning rebellion towards their husbands, which may cause a breakdown of the marriage, then first admonish them and then sleep apart from them. And lastly, hit them lightly. For example, with a handkerchief or with a soft twig, etc. on non-delicate areas no more than thrice, only if it is beneficial to save the marriage. Then, if they obey you, so do not seek to do injustice to them. Indeed, Allah is ever exalted, most great. Men having authority over women means keeping them in check, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made one excel over the other, meaning the man has been given excellence over the women. Men are regarded as superior because they spend their wealth on the women. So the pious women are obedient to their husbands. And how are they obedient? By guarding the wealth and honor of their husbands, by not having unlawful relationships, such as affairs with other men in the absence of their husbands or even in the presence of their husbands. They guard their chastity the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded them to guard. Regarding the women from whom you fear ill conduct, when such signs appear of ill conduct, what should one do first? Admonish them. Make them fear Allah. If that does not work, then sleep apart from them. If they show such disobedience, and if after sleeping separately they still do not show any sign of obedience, then lastly, administer light punishment, not violently, but with a folded handkerchief or with a twig, etc. And this only on non-delicate areas, and this should not happen more than thrice, and this should only happen if it is beneficial to saving the marriage. As saving a marriage is a greater achievement than these slight corrective measures. So, in marriage, the man is named as responsible for protecting, decision-making and breadwinning. And in return, he has the right to have a peaceful, orderly home and a loving wife to come home to, who does not make his life difficult with constant bad temper, nagging or aggressive attitude. The woman is named a skilled homemaker, a loving mother and a faithful counselor. In return, she has the right to be fully provided for by a caring, faithful, protective husband who honors her and respects her individuality. For example, a wife who repeatedly and intentionally refuses to consult her husband and does things that damages the well-being of the family, one who fails to do what they had agreed upon after consultation for no logical reason other than rebellion, one who intentionally does what her husband hates just to make him angry out of spite, or has extramarital affairs with other men, is certainly a type of woman who should be appropriately disciplined in order to preserve the peace and harmony of the Muslim home and the family members within it. If a woman rebels against her husband and disobeys his commands, then he should follow this method of admonishing her. Sayyiduna Hassan al-Basri radiyallahu anh said, this means that it should not cause pain. Hazrat Ata rahimahullah stated, I said to Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma, what kind of hitting is there that it is not harsh? He said, hitting with a siwak and the like. A siwak or miswak is a small stick or a twig used for cleaning the teeth. And the purpose behind this is not at all to humiliate or hurt the woman. Rather, it is intended to make her realize that she has transgressed against the rights of her husband, and that her husband has the right to set her straight and discipline her in order to save the home. Otherwise, divorce will take place, the home will break, and it will result in too many sufferings of the family and the children. It is merely a symbolic act. What a beautiful blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He said not to take all the steps at one time, meaning it is incremental and one after the other, in which the slight hitting is the last resort, and that is only administered when the first two methods, admonishing them verbally and separating from them, has been satisfied. The examples of disobedience are those acts that are considered as actual sins, rather than something like forgetting to cook dinner or the presence of too much salt in the food, etc. These acts would not amount at all to disobedience.
के मालिक गुजारिश है तुझसे मेरे दिल में कुरान बसा मेरे मौला।